Hi everyone! In a recent video, I was here in my local Florida forest photographing this subject behind me with my view camera and black and white film. And in that video, I showed how I made proof sheets of that film, and I made them to look just like traditional darkroom contact proofs, but of course, it was all digital. Well, I had a very nice question about that in the comment section, and they were asking for more information about how I did it. So I thought, why not make a video about it, walking you through the whole process and showing you what I do. Now, I think even folks who are still working in the traditional silver darkroom might find something of interest here, particularly how I number my negatives for reference and identification. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. I hope you enjoy it. When I worked in the traditional wet darkroom, all my negatives were contact proofed onto 8x10 paper, 3-hole punched, and placed in notebooks, one for each year. The negatives were organized into a box for each year and were sleeved according to subject or location, and notes could be made on the sleeve highlighting anything special. Each negative received a unique identifying number before proofing, and those numbers were always included on the sleeve. It's important to number each negative in a way that shows on the proof so it can be identified later and cross-referenced on any notes or other cataloging. Four by 5 negatives can be numbered in the film border outside the image area. The numbering system I use consists of 3 groups of numbers. The first represents the film format. I wrote type here in the video, but it's really the format. So in this case, it's a 4x5 negative, so I write 45. If it was 35mm film, you'd write 35. If you're using 2 1/4 square, you'd write 66. If you were using a 645 camera, you'd write 645, and so on. The point of having this number on the film isn't that you need to know the film format while you're looking at the film, but later, when a number is used in cataloging or a print recipe form or any other place, you can tell instantly just from looking at the number what kind of film it is. The next group of numbers is the year. I use a 2-digit number, the last 2 digits of the year in which the negative was made. So since this year is 2020, I write 20. The last group is just a sequential number for the negative starting with the number 1. You could use 1 or 01 or 001, but then each subsequent negative gets the next number in order. So that's the numbering system. Again, this number goes in the film border, and those groups of numbers taken together give you a unique identifying number for each negative that can be recorded and referenced later and seen on the contact proof. This negative numbering is done with a very fine tip archival pigment pen with black ink. Here's one I use, and I'll put the info for this and a couple others in the description below. I just find a wide border area. It's not always the same spot on every negative or film stock, but there is usually a wide enough area to comfortably write these numbers. So as we discussed, I write 45 for the film format, 20 for the year, and since I've already numbered a couple so far this year, I'm up to number 3. And that's what it looks like. I'll number a couple more so you get the idea. So when I'm done, you can see all the numbers, and when these are proofed, the numbers show up white in the black border of the proofs and are fairly easy to read. Next comes the scanning. I have an Epson V700, but I think any scanner will do as long as it has an 8x10 flatbed. I lay the 8x10 film guide down on the scanner glass and then lay down the negatives, which have been placed in protective sleeves, emulsion side up. 4 4x5 negatives arranged neatly on the 8x10 area, and this simulates the same arrangement I used in the wet darkroom when making contact proofs. Next, I run a preview scan and see how the negatives are aligned. Sometimes I have to adjust the arrangement of the negatives until I get them all square and parallel and not crooked. Once this preview is done, I make adjustments using the scanning software, like you would with any scan, to get a full range capture with no clipping of highlights or shadows. This isn't meant to be a scanning tutorial, and you can probably find lots of videos on how best to operate your particular scanner and software. Typically, I want the image to be a little soft, so all the detail available in the negative is revealed. In the darkroom, I always printed on a grade 2 paper, which is also a little softer in contrast. Once you have the look you want, hit scan and let it work. I've sped this up to save time. Next, I open the file in Photoshop. Here, I'm going to add some more black border so that it will print properly on 8.5 by 11 paper. First, I rotate the canvas, which isn't technically necessary, but since these are horizontal images, it's just easier to look at them in proper orientation. Next, I adjust the image size down to 300 dpi, which is my standard print resolution, and then add canvas to make the overall image 8.5 by 11. Then select that new image area and fill with black. Then send the file to the printer. The print dialog usually gives a warning about the image being larger than the paper's printable area. This is okay, just click Proceed. Once all the proofs are printed, trim off the white border and you're all done. You can do the 3-hole punch and place in annual binders if you wish. Of course, you could skip the printing steps and catalog these proof scans in Lightroom using its powerful organization tools. But for me, with many years of physical proofs already existing, this method allows me to continue that system without the darkroom work. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you found something useful here that can help you in your own process. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. If you enjoy this content and would like more information about me and my photography, please head on over to my website at scottwaltonphotographs.com. I have an ebook, annual folios, and handmade fine art prints available from locations all across the country. Thanks so much for checking that out.